problems, we are going to continue with today's class. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all for this online class on signals and systems, and we are going to proceed ahead with few more numerical problems that we will be discussing, and we'll be winding up today with properties of systems, and we have few more problems which are added, and that would be enough to complete the signals and systems. So these are the concepts that we are going to discuss in today's online class, and few more are joining in. It is not a problem. Let people be joining in, and we will see to it that certain problems which are there. I think we'll be focusing it in today's class, and we'll be continuing with the rest of the topics of module number 2 in the online class itself. That is tomorrow at same time. So, with no delays, let's move on to the topic. That is the next problem. I think we had done with g of n and x of n. So let's focus on the topic. Yeah, again, we have a few more numerical problems to be discussed, and we can focus right now in this way. For the following system, for the following system, determine determine whether determine whether the system is first one linear. Okay, next we have time invariant. Next we have memory. You have to say whether it is having a memory or memoryless. Next we are going to have the fourth one, sorry, it is causal. And next we are going to have the stability, whether you are going to say whether the system or the given signal is stable or not. Now I have y of n that can be written as t operator, that is on the input signal, that is x of n. So that should be equal to, that is x of n minus nd, where nd is any other number which is there. I think it can be a positive number or a negative number. Got it? So this is the given signal, and you can expect such numerical problems for the examination also, and where we can have x of n minus nd, and nd is any number which is there. Either it might be a positive number or it might be a negative number. Now moving on to the next one, I mean the first one, that is the linearity concept. Getting it? So we have a linearity. So what is linearity there? So I have a weighted sum of the inputs, that is x1 of n, that is a, x1 of n plus b, x2 of n. So once I have this t operator that is applied on this system, we are going to get a to be called as a linear function or a signal. We are going to have t of x1 of n plus b into t of x2 of n. Getting it right? So I'm going to call this as the linearity function. So we are going to have this one which is there. I think it can be split as a into t x1 of n plus b t of, that is the t operator applied on two weighted inputs. Okay, let us see how we can write it, and we can have a signal where we can have this one, that is x of n minus nd, that is there. Okay, so let me operate, or let me give it as two inputs that are to be applied on this. Now what I can see here, it is the time shifted version of it. If you can see, this is the time shifted version. So what I can do right now is I can have the linearity function where x of n, which is already been defined as a into x1 of n plus b into x2 of n. Getting it right? So I have two inputs. So let me apply this t operator on both the sides. T of x of n, that would be equal to y of n, that would be equal to t operator on a x1 of n plus b into x2 of n. Okay, so I have this t operator that has been applied. Now what happens here? You say that the system, okay, the system, now I need to change the input signal itself that has been given here. So how I can write it? I can write it as a x1 of n minus nd plus b into x2 of n minus nd. Okay, so we can generally say that depending on the time shifting here, I can say the is said to be system is said to be linear. System is said to be linear. So I have the system which I can generally say that the system is said to be linear. Okay, so the linearity property is verified. Next, we'll focus on the second one. What is the second one? Time invariance. Time invariance. Okay, how do I say it as time invariance? How do I recall the definition? So once I have the input signal y of n, okay, that is the input signal where I'll be applying it on x of n. So what I can see here, that is x of n minus nd. Got it? X of n minus nd, that is there. Okay, so I have x of n minus nd. Now what is the shift that you can see here? If I shift n to n minus nd, okay, if I shift n to n minus nd, or here this is the shift what is there in the input signal, but n, if I change it to n minus n naught, okay, so what happens at the both input and the output side? So I have y of n minus n naught, that is there as t operator that is applied on x of n minus n naught, which is there, that should be equal to, yeah, so what is n that has been changed here? So I have x of this n is changed to n minus n naught minus nd. If you see here, I have just changed n as n minus n naught there. Okay, got it? So this is where you are going to get n minus n naught, that is already been applied, and I can say that with the suitable change in the input signal, I can say that the given signal is time invariant. Okay, time invariant. So this signal or a system is said to be time invariant. System is time invariant. Got it? Now let's move on to the next one, that is the third one. That is the third one. What we are going to call? We are going to call whether it is having a memory, or we are just going to call it as a memoryless system. Now the system is memoryless. I can generally say that the system is memoryless. The system is memoryless. System is memoryless once, okay, 1 minute. The system is memoryless once we have nd equals 0. Okay, so in other cases it is having memory. It is having memory. Now what I can generally say here is I have nd equals 0. See, consider the system here, x of n minus nd. Once I have nd equals 0, I'll be getting the signal, that is only the input signal, which is x of n. Once I have this input signal, say x of n, I can certainly say that the given signal which is that is said to be having only dependent on the present value of the input. Alright. So once I change the value of nd other than 0, you will be calling it as memory system. So the system is said to be having a memory. System is said to be having memory. System is said to be having memory. Okay. Now next, how do you say it is causal? Anyone in the meeting? Can you let me know how you can say it as a causal system? How do you say, or how will you come to know whether it is a causal system or not? How do you say it is causality? Causality is verified whether you are going to call this as a causal system or not. Now, when I say I want to be called it as a causal system, again, you will be having ND, which is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. If ND, I'll specify the condition here. If ND is greater than or equal to 0, the system, the system is, the system is causal. The system is causal. Okay. Otherwise, we can call it we can call it as non causal system. Non causal system, can call it as non causal system. Got it? So I hope you can refresh what do you mean by causality of the system. Next, we have stability of the system. Next, we have stability of the system. So I'll be considering the input here, the input magnitude, which is certainly less than or equal to mx, which will be in the limit of infinity. Now, I have y of n that would be equal to t operator, that is x of n there, and I'll be having the output that is x of n minus nd. Now, if you see the output x of n minus nd, which will be certainly in the limit of my itself, less than or equal to my, which will be less than infinity. Got it? So I can certainly say that you will be having the system to be called as a stable system. System is said to be system is said to be stable. System is said to be stable. Okay. So this is how I can certainly consider whatever the signal that is being given. Okay. So whatever the signal that is being given, I can come to a conclusion that I can call such signals to be like linearity, causality, all these things can be verified. So what we did exactly did here is, depending on the condition of ND, we got to know certain things, that is causality of the system. Okay, causality of the system. Next, we had time invariance. Okay, so it is entirely dependent on the value of ND which is going to be there. So that is causality of the system, and we got time invariance of the system also. Got it? So let's move on to the next one. If you have any doubts, you can stop me at any point of time, and you can let me know whether if you have understood the topic or if you have not understood the topic. Okay, so do let me know on this platform. Determine determine whether the system, okay, that is y of a t, that would be equal to e power x of a t. Okay, e power x of t is linear. Next, we got time invariant. Next, we have got a memory. Next, causal. Next, we are going to call it as a stable. Okay, so we have got linearity, time invariant, memory, causality of the system. Okay, sorry, yeah, causality of the system, and we are going to call whether the given signal here y of t, okay, this signal which is there, y of t equals e power x of t, whether we are going to call it as a linear system, whether we are going to call it as a time invariant, whether we are going to call it as a memory, and causality and stability of the system there. Okay, so without any delay, let's jump on to the solution. First one, that is linearity. So all the steps have to be clearly mentioned. So how I am doing it in the class or this online sessions, I think we can focus on this. We'll be having y of t, that would be entirely dependent on t of the input signal x of t. Okay. So how I can write it? I can write it as e power x of t, which is the exponential signal which is there, and I can write it like this. Now, this input signal, okay, this input signal, you can see that it is not e power t, that is e power x of t, a x1 of t plus b x2 of t, that is there. Now what I can do here is t x1 of t, that is there, and I can have a plus b, okay, t x2 of t. Got it. So now what I can change it here. So I need to have this input signal. I need to give it as weighted sum of the inputs. I need to give it as weighted sum of inputs. Weighted sum of inputs. Okay. So now let me change here. That is y of t. Y of t, that would be equal to e power x1 of t with a constant plus b x2 of t. Okay, so e power a x1 of t into e power b x2 of t, that is there. Got it? So how I can write it? So I can write it as two different signals here. Okay, so if you see it, so it is having e power a x1 of t into e power b x2 of t, which is not equal. Remember here, which is not equal to a t. Only you have a constant here. I wanted e power x1 of t. So it is not equal to t of x1 of t plus b t of x2 of t. Got it? So this is where we are going to have y of t, which is there like this. Got it? So we are going to say the system, we are going to say the system is non-linear. We're going to say the system is non-linear. Observe what I did. So we are going to say that the system is said to be non-linear. Okay. So second one, we have got time invariance. We have got time invariance. We have got the second one, which is time invariance. Now I have got y of t, that would be equal to e power x of t. So I'll be having the change from t to t minus t naught, change of t to t minus t naught. I'll be having y of t minus t naught, which would be e power x t minus t naught, which is there, and we are going to call the system. I think we are certainly sure that any change in the input with respect to the time advanced or a time delay, so we are going to call the system, we are going to call the system is time invariant. Time invariant. We are going to call the system to be time invariant. Okay, so next we are going to have memory. Next we are going to have memory of a system, that is there. So how you can say the given signal y of t equals e power x of t. The value of the output signal depends only on the present input. Okay, so see here, if I give x of t as any other signal, okay, it's a unit step signal or it might be a ramp signal. So the output depends on the present value, on the present value of the input signal. Present value of the input signal. Present value of the input signal. Okay, so the system is said to be, yeah, the system is said to be memoryless. The system is said to be, the system is said to be memoryless. Okay, so it is not dependent on the other values, it's only dependent on the input value that you give. So that is the reason why we are generally calling it as the memoryless system. Okay, so next move on to the next one, that is causal, or we are going to call that as a causality of the system. Now the input doesn't depend on the future values. So what did we define it for causality? So we had to define it for a present value or a previous value or a combination of both present and the previous value. So that is the reason why we are going to call e power x of t, which is there. I'll be calling it as the output. The output does not depend on, does not depend, does not depend on the future values, does not depend on the future values of the input, future values of the input. Therefore the system is said to be, therefore the system is said to be causal. Therefore the system is said to be causal. Okay, so I hope you have got the both memory and also the causality of the system. So let's move on to the next one, which is stability. I am sure that it is stable in nature, and let us write down the system is said to be stable in nature. Okay, so let us start in this way. We have got stability. We have got stability. So, and we can certainly say that the system is stable. The system is stable. Got it? So I have the input signal, that is x of t, okay, x of t, which is there, less than mx, less than or equal to mx, less than infinity. Now I have y of t, which is there, less than or equal to my, less than or equal to infinity. So I will be having y of t, that would be equal to e power x of t, which is there, that is y of t equals e power x of t. So I can certainly say that the system is stable in nature. I can say that the system is stable in nature. Got it? The system is stable in nature. Okay, so let's move on to the next one if you have got it. So we have three more problems to be discussed, and we can wind it up with this session. So if you are fast enough, I think we can finish it off easily. And again, the given signal, we have to determine whether it is linear or how it is. So y of t, that would be equal to d by dt of x of t, d by dt of x of t. So which is differential operator, differential operator, differential operator on input signal, on input signal x of t, on input signal x of t. Okay, so first let us verify the linearity. First let us verify the linearity concept. Now if you say linearity, I need to give the weighted sum of the inputs, that is a x1 of t plus b x2 of t, that is that. Now I need to apply the t operator, and it would give me the weighted sum of the inputs that are there. So that is t operator x1 of t plus b that is t operator, that is the on the second signal, that is x2 of t. Got it? So I have a d by a dt, which is there. I'll be having the operator which is applied, a times x1 of t plus b times x2 of t. Got it? So that would be equal to a d by dt x1 of t. Okay, next I got plus b times d by dt, which is x2 of t. Okay, so just let me know whether it is having a linear or not exactly. So we are going to call it as a linear function here. So I'm only retained with this differential operator which is there, and I'll be coming to know what was the change that is going to happen. So a t operator, that is x1 of t, plus b t operator, that is x2 of t. Got it? So the system is said to be the system is said to be linear. The system is said to be linear. Okay, so we are going to call whether the system is said to be linear or whether it is said to be non-linear, depending on this weighted sum of the inputs. Okay, so we have verified the linearity property. So next one, let's move on to the time invariance. Let us move on to the time invariance. Let us move on to the next one, which is time invariance. Okay, so how you are going to get to know that it is having a time invariance property, or time, you are going to call it as a time invariance. So we have the t operator that has been applied on t minus t naught, which is there, and we are going to call it as, yeah, d by dt, that is x of t minus t naught. Okay, x of t minus t naught. Now, what is the change that you observe here? So we have shifted from t to t minus t naught, that is the input signal, where we are going to have d by dt, that is x of t minus t naught, which is there. Okay, so we are going to call the system is time invariant. The system is time invariant. The system is time invariant. Okay, so let us focus on the next property, that is memory. Okay, so we are differentiating with respect to time. So whatever it is, whether it is having an integrator or a differentiator, so we are going to say that the differentiator, okay, we are going to say that the differentiator has a memory. Differentiator, because we are differentiating with respect to time. So whatever may be the time duration, either it might be 0 plus or 0 minus, we are going to call it as memory. Like at 0 plus, we are going to call it as having a memory or a state or an output state which is there. And the other way, which is the differentiator having 0 plus, like the change in the magnitude or change in the output of a system, we are going to call it as a differentiator which has a memory. Differentiator which has a memory. I think it's quite clear. And we are going to call next one, which is causality. Next one, which is causality. So how you are going to define whether it is causal or not? So I have d by dt of the input signal, that is x of t. So it doesn't depend on the future values. It depends on either the past value or a present value which you are going to differentiate, or a combination of both the present and the past value. So that is the reason why we are going to call it as the causality of the system. So causality, the system under consideration is said to be having a causal nature. Okay, so it is causal in nature. So it doesn't, the output doesn't depend on, output doesn't depend on the future values. Okay, so that is the reason why we call it as the causality of the system. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is stability. Let's move on to the next one, which is stability. So I can certainly say that this stable nature of it will be like, you have an input signal, that is x of t, which is less than or equal to mx, less than or equal to infinity, and I have y of t, which would be t operator, that is x of t, which is there, and it is a differentiator operator d by dt, which is x of t, which is that. And I can certainly say that it is less than or equal to my, less than or equal to infinity. So that is the reason where we are going to call it as the system which is stable in nature. System is stable in nature. System is stable in nature. So we are going to call it like that. Okay. So I hope the systems are there, and we can certainly say that the system is stable in nature. Okay. So well within the limit, and we can have the system. Okay. So in some cases they would have mentioned instability. I think the reasons are there. So because just it is a differentiator operator. So whatever the differentiator operator that is there, like x of t, which is there, if I give it as 1 or any other value, that is x, or if I can call it as t itself. So in such cases, it is said to be stable in nature. In other cases, in other cases, it is it is unstable. In other cases, it is unstable. So the system is stable in nature. So for certain cases there, and most of the cases, we are going to call it as the unstable system. So because we are going to have the differentiator operator, which is there, and it is need not be less than or equal to the my there. Okay, so only for such things we are going to call it as a stable thing. Next, moving on to the next one, we have got so we have got the next one, which is y of n. Okay, so y of n, that would be equal to 2 times x of n into u of n. So 2 times x of n into u of n. So we are going to verify this signal. So we have this signal here, which is a unit step signal. We are going to call this as a unit step signal. Now, first we are going to verify. We are going to call it as a linearity or not. Linearity or not. So we are going to have t times a x1 of n plus b x2 of n, which is there. So that way you can verify a t1 of t of 1 minute. Yeah, t of x1 of n plus b t of x2 of n, which is there. Correct. So I'll be having the functions here, that is the weighted sum of the inputs that you are going to apply. So we are going to have 2 times a x1 of n plus b x2 of n, which is that. Okay, so I'm going to change only the inputs and u of n. So what I did here, I just changed the input which is there, and I'm going to see which is going to be there, that is 2a x1 of n plus 2b x2 of n, which is there, and I think I'll be multiplying with the u of n signal there. Got it? So we can certainly say that you will be having the 2a if you multiply it, you'll be having u of n. So the system is linear in nature. The system is linear in nature. Okay, the system is linear in nature. Got it. So next we are going to have the second one, which is said to be time invariance. Time invariance. Okay, so I'm going to call it as a time invariance there. So what I'm going to do here, so I'm going to have t operator, that is x of n minus n naught, which is there. So that would be equal to 2 times x of n minus n naught times u of n. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just shift it. What I did here, this is y of n minus n naught, which is there. I can have 2 into x of n minus n naught into u of n minus n naught there. So along with the input signal, so if I have this output, so you can see here whatever that is there. So the system is okay, the system whatever that you see. So I have an output which is related to y of n minus n naught, which is that, and I have the input signal which is there like this. Okay, so whatever the input signal, if you see, okay, if you see it doesn't match. Okay, so we are going to call it as not time invariant. Okay, not time invariant. So if you see here, I shifted with respect to output. The output should change, but once I shift the input signal, this will not change here. Got it? So if you observe both the things, so it is not equal to t of x my n minus n naught there. Okay, so that is the reason why we are going to call it as the not time invariant. Okay, not time invariant there. So that is the reason why we are generally going to call it, or the system which is there, so we are going to call it as not time invariant there. Okay, so remember this, it is not time invariant, or we can call it as time variant. We can call it as time variant. Okay, so next one we are going to have memory. We are going to call it as memory. Okay, so we are going to call it as memory. So how you can say the system is having memory or not? How you can come to know, or how you can state that the system is having memory or not? Yes, we can certainly say that the system is memoryless. Okay, the system is said to be memoryless. Okay, so if I can recall, the system is memoryless. Okay, it only depends on the input value that you are going to give. So that is the reason why we are going to call this, or the system, or the signal which is said to be memoryless there. Okay, so that is the reason of calling the memory or the system which is said to be completely memoryless there. Okay, causality of the system. Causality. So how we are going to say whether it is having a causality or not? So the output doesn't depend on the future values. So it only depends on the present value. It only depends on the present value of input, present value of input that is there. So that is the reason why we are going to call the system is said to be causal in nature. The system is said to be causal in nature. The system is said to be causal in nature. So next we are going to have stability. Okay, so stability which is there. Okay, the system is said to be stable in nature, so there is no change here. So x of n which is less than or equal to mx less than or equal to infinity. So I have y of n that would be equal to the t operator on x of n there. So that is nothing but the t operator which is applied on 2 of x of n into u of n, so which is less than or equal to my which is less than infinity. Got it? So that is the reason why we say that the system is stable in nature. System is stable. System is stable in nature. So that is the reason why we are going to call the system is said to be stable in nature. Okay, so there are few more problems which are to be discussed. There are few more problems which are to be discussed, and I'll be sharing you the recorded versions of it. You can go through it. So this is the idea behind it. No matter how many problems that I solve, the idea, if you don't understand the idea, whether it is a discrete time signal or an unlocked signal or a like continuous time signal, that so such signals are always need to meet the criteria for each and every property. So unless it is meeting the criteria, we cannot say that it is linear or whether it is causal or time invariance. So such problems or such things will be there. Got it? So I hope you understood a bit in this session, and we will see to it that few more problems are being sent to you. Okay.